exactly how much profit do I make from flipping golf clubs that I find online. Let's get into it.
Really appreciate it. I think it's a good find for the channel. So here's the breakdown for my Excel spreadsheet.
Good morning, you beautiful people. How are you all doing? I'm gonna go and pick up some golf clubs now. A lot of you are probably wondering how much profit do I actually make when I buy golf clubs and then sell them on eBay. When you take off fees, delivery, petrol, or getting the collection sorted, whatever it might be. So that's exactly what we're going to do. £150 I'm spending today to go and pick up an array of different golf clubs, from wedges to hybrid to driver head. So it'd be quite an interesting one, and then we're gonna basically, I'm gonna give you the breakdown of exactly if I sold all of them at what I'd mark them up as, how much money I would make on top of that £150 before I take taxes out. As far as I'm aware, I'm allowed to do this. I looked at the government guidelines. Coaching's literally dropped off the shelf. As you can imagine, not many people obviously want to either have lessons in the winter, and especially with all the different tiers that we've got going on at the moment. YouTube's my only kind of revenue, as well as obviously buying and selling second-hand clubs. And as I'm going to get taxed next year for all of this, it is my job at this point, so I presume I'm allowed to do this. Not only that, I've applied for delivery driver jobs, contracting jobs, but they don't start till January. Hermes driver, which is essentially just going in my car and picking up parcels and dropping off parcels. So I'm not too sure what would be different between being a Hermes driver and what I'm doing now. But as I say, leave me comments down below. I feel like I'm in the right of actually going to do this, but at the same time, still taking all precautions. Mask, hand sanitizer, meeting the person outside, and then obviously washing the clubs when I get home. Right, off to the place to go and pick up these golf clubs. If you like this video, leave it a like, subscribe if you're new. By the way, don't worry, like, I have got savings. I'm sure you guys have got your own stuff to deal with. I'm sure you're not worried, but I've got savings. But at the same time, I do see it as, what kind of father would I be if I just sat at home eating into our savings when I could be out there working as I am, fit and healthy. So I don't really care what job I do, if it's delivery driver, labouring, whatever. As long as I'm earning a bit of money, it's better than staying at home, isn't it? Right, let's get over there. Okay boys, we have collected the clubs. Really happy with everything I've got here. I didn't have as many photos as normally I'd like, but I thought the deal was so good, £20 each for these Cleveland wedges. I'll show you the photos that I saw. Even in their worst condition, this was going to be a good deal. We've got a 58 degree. I'm trying to get my face out of it so you can actually see it, and I'll get home and I'm clean these up a bit so you can see a bit of a better picture of what we've actually got. And you can see faces, grooves. I mean, we're worn. They're worn. They've definitely been used, there's no question about that. But I'm really pleasant. It's got a graphite shaft in it, which is class. Graphite shafts always go for a tiny bit more. So we've got the 58 there, and even better condition at 52, because normally a 52 wouldn't be used out of the bunker. The reason that the 58's been battered more is because it's been used out of a bunker. Again, graphite shaft. So 2 RTX Cleveland 4 wedges, really happy with that. I actually paid more for an RTX 3 wedge because the condition is better. So I've got an RTX Cleveland wedge. Again, I messaged him saying, if you've got any other stuff, let me know. I saw he had a TaylorMade driver head, M1, for £40 going. So I said, I'll definitely have that. And I said, if you've got anything else at home that you're willing to just get rid of, I'll send you an offer. And we came to an agreement on these two wedges, well, this wedge and the hybrid, for £70. So £40 for the wedges. We've got £70 for this hybrid. Again, had no idea what the shaft was going to come in it. I didn't know the condition of it. 2 M1 hybrid, again quite sought after because this is a low driving iron hybrid basically, with a hazardous handcrafted 6.5 shaft in it. What a touch that is. So 2 hybrid there. So realistically, I'll probably pay £40 for this, £30 for the RTX 3 wedge, £20 each for the RTX 4 wedges, which aren't in good condition. And then last but not least, head cover for the M1, which is great, as head covers always make drivers sell a lot better. And then the M1 2017 head in itself, and in pretty good condition, to be fair. I'm only holding the head cover under my armpit, hence why you're getting a very clear sight up my nose. M1 head, 2017 for £40, and I've got shafts and adapters at home, so I'm going to build something to go with that. So let's get home, I'll clean these up, you guys can have a better look at them, and then I'll tell you how I work out my pricing and how much money that potentially we'll get from this trip.
And we are back. Cleaned them all, given them all a bit of TLC, taken the photos, done the spreadsheet. My first tip of anything is take decent photos of your equipment outside, on the grass, or just on a blank canvas to really show the person who wants to buy them what you've got, because they're willing to pay more if they know exactly what they are. If you just take 1-2 photos, as I said, these RTX 4 wedges, you saw the photos at the start. Now I'll show you the ones that I've taken of them and the video of them outside. They look amazing. But before, again, I was taking a bit of a gamble. I didn't know if they were graphite shafts. I didn't know what the grip condition was like. I didn't really see the grooves that well. But now I've cleaned them up, given them a bit of love. We're talking a really good wedge set. These are F5 recoil. These are X-Stiff graphite shafts in RTX 4 heads. These are really expensive clubs. We're talking retail price when these would have come out, or initially, I think brand new, these are about £90 a club, but brand new, we're talking £110 a piece. Whereas I'll pick these up for £20 each, which is an absolute steal, but I'm just glad that I can show you this kind of value. As I say, this doesn't normally happen. Normally, I go and pick something up and it's in worse condition and the gamble hasn't necessarily paid off, but it swings and roundabouts. RTX 3 wedge, as you can see there. I'm going to list this as the same price pretty much as the other wedges, mainly because even though this is an older model, the condition's pretty much mint. It's got a lovely little cord grip, tiny bit worn, face is pretty much perfect, back of the head no nicks, steel shaft, flawless, S400. So these are newer and they're graphite. I think I'm going to try and get these £110 for the pair, see how that floats. As I say, guys, don't go and buy my stuff. Like, I am just under market value. There are deals to be had. You just got to put a tiny bit of time and effort in, like I have. But this RTX 3 wedge is pretty much flawless. So even though it's older as a model, I think you're going to get more life and more spin off this one, just because the groove's in better condition, the face is better, and wedges really haven't changed. I'd rather you go and spend £40 on an older model in great condition than £40 on something that's literally just come out, but it's been in a bunker 2,000 times, off a cart path 100 times, out the trees. You get what I'm saying. So overall, I think these 3 wedges, even though I spent I spent £30 on that, which is probably right, and £20, I mean, that is still silly good value, but £20 each on those wedges, overall I'd say this is the better wedge, even though it's an older model. So do bear that in mind when it comes to wedges. Now M1, this again, another touch. Like, I don't think I've ever been this lucky without seeing like the whole club. And the only reason I don't normally ask is Facebook Marketplace, especially over the last month, 2 months, 3 months. It's quieting down now because of winter. Like, if you haven't gone there in the first 20 minutes, it's already gone. Those wedges had already actually been bought, and he said, I'm really sorry, but if they don't go, let me know, and they're yours. And I go, yeah, no problem. And I've done that 100 times, and no one ever replies. But then 10 minutes later, he said, actually, the guy didn't want them, it was for his father. Do you still want them? And I said, yes. And then he posted that M1 head 13 minutes later, and I said, can I have the head as well? He was like, yes. And I said, what else have you got? And he said, I've got this, as well as the other wedge. He also had an Adams club, but I didn't really pull the trigger on that one. Overall, this club, I pretty much paid what it was worth, kind of. But I was already making the journey, if that makes sense. So for me, I wouldn't necessarily have travelled to go and pick this up for £40. I didn't even expect it to have handcrafted 6.5 shaft in it, but because I was already going for that and that, I thought even if I make £10, £15, maybe £10 on the wedge, it covers my petrol. Again, that's just extra stuff. Wear and tear over time, me travelling back and forth, these are the kind of things I add into when I go and pick stuff up. Normally, I arrange collection. I just pay the person PayPal then and there, like business services. I arrange collection, they wrap it up, gets delivered. So typically, I wouldn't have just pulled the trigger on this, going and collecting it, but it just so happened, because I was going for those, this kind of makes sense. The shaft is probably worth more than the head. Lovely handcrafted, hazardous black hybrid shaft, which if I had another hybrid shaft in the M1 series, I'd probably swap this out because it has seen better days, to be fair. Let's focus now. So as you can see, we've definitely got some wear marks. It's been skied a tiny bit at the top there, but it is a 2 hybrid, which is a bit more rare, and it's got a 6.5 X-Diff. This thing is going to be a bomb, an absolute monster for someone that has a serious high club head speed. So £40 I paid for that. I'm going to aim to get £80, and it does seem like I'm just doubling my money on a lot of these items, which occasionally it is, but it's amazing how much fees, delivery, because I include all postage free of charge, next day delivery. It's amazing how much that all adds up, as well as the petrol and everything else. And last but not least, the 2017 head that I picked up for £40 as well. This is a monster of a driver. I wouldn't say it's a more forgiving driver. This is definitely geared towards that long ball, that big hitter, better player. I would probably recommend going more towards, like, and if you had the choice between the M5 or even cheaper, going back to the 2016 M1, I would go towards that. Very few people are actually designed to have this kind of head. I love the M2 series, not the 2017, but the 2016 version. Very rarely would I have fitted someone for this because people just struggle to get it up in the air. But that's what it's designed for. Long ball, fast club head speed. It is flawless. I've cleaned it to a point that it's now immaculate. I've taken out all the weights at the bottom there. I've cleaned them all up. It looks pretty much brand new. Again, photos are so important, guys. Take them outdoors, take them in daylight, clean up the club. People will spend more money on stuff that they can actually see versus in a dark garage that they can't see. So £40 on that. £20. I've got loads of tailor-made adapters. I bought loads of them ages ago, knowing that like this opportunity will come up. I've got shafts coming out my ears. So I'm gonna go with an X-Flex Adilla Voodoo shaft, which probably would have been in the 910, maybe 909 driver back in its day, but I don't care. I'm gonna whack a grip on it, cut it to length, tailor-made grip, and that is gonna go straight into that driver there. And we're gonna look for £130, something like that, which I think is probably attainable. I've looked again at the prices of all of these as we've gone along, and I think someone would be after that, especially if they want, I mean, the head cover again, immaculate, head immaculate, brand new shaft, brand new grip. I think it's quite good value. So there is my £150 haul from today. As I say, that doesn't normally happen. That is definitely gone in our way in terms of favour there, which is really appreciated. I think it's a good find for the channel. So here's the breakdown for my Excel spreadsheet. I've got all the numbers. You can see how much I paid for it. Then obviously taking out the fees from eBay, profit, and we're left with £127 on top of the 150. So overall, once this is all sold at hopefully that kind of price, we should be looking at about £277 altogether. That doesn't take into account obviously the taxes and potential VAT that I will be hitting also next year. Finding this in bulk would be amazing. This is like few and far between. If I could find 2-3 lots of this a day, then it wouldn't be that difficult to get in the business up and running in terms of big upscale warehouse, fitting studio, you name it. It would just pay for itself. But as I say, finding these, as competitive as the market is at the moment, is a bit more difficult. But then again, that's why it's quite interesting and exciting when you do come across a gem of a find like this. Guys, let me know what you think. Leave your comments down below. Subscribe if you're new. See you guys there.